Special Mike of the Night. Oh yeah. Today is Monday, September 25th, 2023. Welcome to a very last-minute, very special edition of Mike of the Night, episode 524. Next week's news today on Mike of the Night. Next week's news today on Mike of the Night. And I want to thank everybody for being here, liking, subscribing, sharing the channel, sharing information, calling into the show, being part of the channel all these years. And we're growing old together, and we're going through all the BS together. And yeah, it is September 25th. Can you believe there's, was it 3 months today? Till, yeah, 25th. Yeah, 3 months today till Christmas. Yeah, 2 months and 28. Yeah, 2 months and 25 days till Christmas. 2023. So we're going through this together. We're going through this turbulence together here, and we got the Rumble chat going, and someone's commenting saying that they like the last minute surprise shows. That's Martine 9590 there, and then we got the Fight Club over at Odyssey. And not sure if it's even working over there, but it is. She's showing that it's working. And we're multi-streaming, folks. We are on multiple platforms and just getting the word out there. And, you know, we are, again, a pre-COVID channel. And we are on Facebook. Hello on Facebook. Hello to the Facebook world. Mike of the Night. Broadcasting from Small Merritt, British Columbia. And I am the most hated person in this town. In Merritt, British Columbia, the most hated person. You're looking at him right here. And Christopher Gray says, goes fast, faster now, and fastest. Oh, yeah. It's you have no idea. It's just, we don't even know how to keep the... You know, Terrence McKenna was right. You know, we talked about Terrence McKenna quite a few times on the show. And Terrence McKenna was right about quite a few things about time. And the further into time we go, the faster it moves forward. Yeah, there's still 24 hours in a day. Yeah, there's still. But I think as we progress further into time, I'm feeling this is just moving faster. Faster than we could catch up to it. You know what I'm saying? And I think he was on to something. Because if you guys don't remember who Terrence McKenna was, he was really obsessed about time. He was so obsessed about timekeeping, not time travel, like understanding time and moving forward into time. And he was really good at that. So, guys, because we are on YouTube, we won't be taking in... I might take an emergency call in, but it's got to be really careful because we are live on multiple platforms and we cannot speak freely. We cannot speak freely on multiple platforms, unfortunately. So there is somebody here on... just trying to hide somebody here on the page here that's spamming me. I'm seeing that a lot on Facebook. A lot of spam on Facebook. And it's crazy. And it looks like we're working on Odyssey too, guys. So thanks for being here. I'll be here for a couple hours with you guys. We'll go over some headlines and what's going down in your neck of the woods. And I have the comments open here. And you guys could give me an update or two. If anything breaks, just let me know. This is an unscheduled show, so let's get into a really quick channel plug here. We got a short channel plug here for you guys tonight. artbydano.com, artbydano.net, not your typical art. Don't forget to check him out. Artbydano.com, artbydano.net is a regular. He was here 3 episodes ago on Mike of the Night. Fakotube.com is what YouTube used to be. Lots of really good stuff. Go ahead and set up an account to be part of Fakotube.com. KiwiRadio.nz, where you can find Ralphie. KiwiRadio.nz. And you could find... I am not seeing episodes of... There it is, Real Mike Martins. Wow, he's got a really cool, like, image thimble up there. A girl looking into a neon light. Neon lights outside. That's kind of like that Mike in the Night feel, right? So there it is right there. And what else? Mark Crispin Miller, Substack. Don't forget to check that out. If you want to know who died suddenly, when they died suddenly, how they died suddenly, with no cause of death reported, of course, you can check that out. Mark Crispin Miller, Substack. So substack.com at Mark Crispin Miller 1, if you want the exact. And if you guys want to donate to the show, there is a link in the description of the show. There's a link in the description of this show where you could donate to Mike of the Night if you want to buy me a coffee. And the most powerful glutathione on the market, I have it right here in front of me. I got my 2 bottles in this morning. I'm very excited, and I've been taking it. It's, man, what a world of difference, folks. I'm going to give you guys a link on the live chat. What a world of difference it's been. Like, I mean, I am now, after 1 month on this stuff, I got it right here. I got 2 bottles that just came in. Let me tell you guys, I don't know what to say. I am beyond words. I'm going to take it for another month. I was talking to Supreme Canon about it, and I told him I'm feeling a lot of good stuff. And it's the clarity. And my eyesight's gotten way better. I noticed that too. The correction in vision. I noticed that. I don't know why, but I never thought I needed a correction in vision, but I got one now. So there it is. I'm putting this across. If you guys want to try it out, go ahead. Sign up. Sign up. It's free. Read the newsletters. Research it. See what it's about. I got it right here. I'm not selling. I'm telling. Right here. I'm not selling. I'm telling you guys. And if you guys want to sign up, go ahead. Anyways, get some classic Mike of the Night going on here. I just spoke to the Raven today, too.
There are people on the planet,
okay,
you know.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Just hear me out on this one.
Sure.
You got this climate change that's full stop. I'm talking it's everywhere. It's on front pages. It's what they're feeding us. And the funny part of this one is that a lot of people are actually buying this hook, line, and sinker. But what is the real thing? like there's something so big in the works. Either it's a real big hot war that's going to wipe out a percentage of us, either they're going to pull the trigger on a mass pandemic, or it's going to be something. And I think this climate change thing is the best direction they could get because everyone's buying it. And there it is. It is something. And we give you guys options. Either they're going to pull the trigger on a hot war, either they're going to go to hot war or they're going to pull the trigger on a pandemic. So there it is right there, folks. We give you guys options there. And I hope the hot war one does not come. I'm not here to be right. I'm not here to, I really am not here to be right about anything. Trust me, you don't want me to be right about anything, right? I put my neck on the line for many years, predicting, letting people know where things were going, how things were shaping up, where things were going to be. You know what I'm saying here, right? I don't want to be right. You don't want me to be right. Believe me. You want me to be wrong, and you want to go on the comments and say, there you go, Mike, you're full of BS. You know what I'm saying? They are due to appear in court in Canada, so Deborah is saying something there in the comments. I quit smoking about a month ago. Got a bunch of clarity from that for sure. Insomnia too, says Chipper Gray. Kim Wilson TV says, you are doing great work, Mike. Thanks, Kim. Who else? Who else is here? Ooh, Alan Howick's in the house. Alan Howick in Decentraland. Time Wave Zero Theory. Yeah, that's what Buddy was saying there. What's his name? Terrence McKenna. All right, guys, let's jump into some headlines. And I'm kind of excited. I'm actually very excited to be here with you guys tonight. It's so good, man, to be on Mike of the Night. And it's September 25th, 2023, man. You can't make this stuff up. Time. Where's it going? Where's it headed? So, guys, just a channel announcement so you guys understand what's happening. This Saturday's show will be canceled, and I'll do it Sunday, okay? We've been doing Mike of the Night every Saturday since 2016. I had to miss one for my wedding, and I had to miss two because my dad passed away. But I've always made up the shows for you guys, so I'm always here. So I'll be here on the Sunday instead on Mike of the Night on Rumble, Odyssey, D-Live. We can't be on Facebook. We can't be on YouTube because the callers call in, things get out of hand, and we could get ourselves basically terminated off a lot of platforms if we're across all platforms. So we're doing this more of B. Isaiah is messaging me saying, do you know the prophecy in Revelation 17:18 about the beast system, the daughter of Babylon? Yes, 100%. I went to Catholic school. We went through the Bible 12 times, back and forth. We even studied books that were removed from the Bible. We even studied, even in the Catholic school I was in, we actually studied how the Bible was hijacked and certain things were removed and changed, right? And so in a Catholic school, we were taught what to watch out and manipulation and changes and things that have changed that have, they were straight up. In our high school, they were really straight up about things. It was a Catholic school, but they were very straightforward and not, trying to not bullshit us, right? Okay, let's see what we got here, folks. Let's see what we got here. I don't want to get us kicked off the platform, so I got to be super careful. There's a few platforms, like Russell Brand, Redacted. There's a couple of platforms, a couple of channels on YouTube that could speak very freely. But after 19 YouTube suspensions, we have to, it's just back and forth with war. And we have to be careful. So we got, what's Breitbart? Won't resign plans to run for re-election. I'll be exonerated. Watch press conference, talking points, tornado. No idea what that is. What else? U.S. foreign-born population approaches 50 million under Joe Biden. So foreign-born population, this is what's happening right now in Europe, where, in Canada too, Canadians' foreign-born population in Canada, right? In Canada, our population is predominantly now becoming more and more foreign-born. Because of the birth tourism that Canada opened up to China. It allowed people coming in. We covered this on the channel years ago, back in 2015, 2016, 2017, talking about birth tourism in Canada and how we were showing you guys in hospitals in Canada, across in the West Coast, primarily in the West Coast, how birth tourism from China was actually making up the population of Canada. And it looked like our birth population in Canada was kind of streamlined, but it wasn't streamlined because, again, of birth tourism. And we were talking about a lot of people were coming in from China and having their children here in Canada and granted immediate citizenship. Mind you, if you were in other parts of the world and you came and had a child here, they'd deport you. There was a woman that was coming in from Portugal that was coming for an uncle's funeral in Toronto, and she was pregnant, and she was told by the Canadian customs border that if she had a child, she would be actually detained and deported immediately from Canada. So it wasn't like she was coming to do anything. It's just she had to go bury her uncle, father's brother, who passed away also years ago in Portugal. It's a long story short, but she was told basically that she's not welcome in Canada. So Canada maintained a birth level, even though our death rate, the death rate of Canadians are higher than the birth rate of Canadians in Canada, of Canadian proper, right? So let's go into what's happening in the United States right now. So analysis, U.S. foreign-born population approaches 50 million under Joe Biden. So under the Biden selection, we are seeing this. The United States foreign-born population is approaching 50 million, the highest ever. Less than 3 years ago into President Joe Biden's policy to expand immigration levels by executive power. Analysis from the Center of Immigration Studies, CIS, of the U.S. Census Bureau's current population survey, CPS, reveals that the last month, the nation's foreign-born population stands about 49.5 million, just 500,000 immigrants short of hitting 50 million. The figure shows how quickly Biden had ballooned immigration to the United States. CPS data indicates that about 2.2 million illegal and legal immigrants have been added to the nation's population in the last year alone. So this is Biden wins, and look at the population right there spike up. Now, I'm going to show you guys why. I'm going to look this up raw right now, live, raw for you guys. Watch. Watch this. So now, go to images. You remember, so when the second Joe Biden got selected, all this started happening. You had plants or shock troops, people waiting in Central America and in Mexico, waiting for Biden's selection to go through to allow hundreds of thousands of migrants in, and those were called the migrant trains. We were covering the migrant trains in depth on Mike in the Night. Now, in these images here, you will see basically Haitian. They had a very big, we're talking hundreds of thousands of Haitians that were unjuiced with no arm candy coming into the country, and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, were coming in, and right after the Biden selection. So it was almost like it was a planned demolition. It was almost like it was a planned demolition to destroy America. They wouldn't do it obviously they would not do it under Trump's administration. So they waited, and look at these underpasses. Look at these underpasses here. This is crazy. And these are all Haitian migrants right here in Texas. Deportation of Haitian migrants, and it's just crazy. And how they got to America, I'm not even going to tell you. We covered this. I won't tell you. You know why? Because you won't believe a word I'll tell you. You won't believe what I'm going to tell you if I told you. How they got to America from Haiti. Through Mexico. It's beyond Mike in the Night. And that's what's happening there. And Canada did the same thing, but they did it more with wealthy Chinese and birth tourism. I'll bring that up too, so you guys... No, I'm not making this stuff up. So it's over here. Birth tourism, China travel limits. So this is not from long ago. I don't know if they're clamping down. Canada's massive and easily fixed birth tourism problem Canadian doctors say birth tourism on the rise. It could hurt the healthcare system. That's May 24, 2023. Richmond resident denies running so-called birthing houses. There was birthing houses all over Western Canada and parts of Toronto. And all about money, how women travel to Canada to give birth and could strain the healthcare system. That's on January 4, 2020. So all this stuff was happening before they pulled the trigger on the pandemic. And I wanted to share this with you guys. So you guys know I'm not making this stuff up. And because we've been on this all these years, right? We are pre-COVID. So lots happened. Everything happened pre-COVID, right? Everything happened pre-COVID. Okay. Vatican, richest country in the world. Dot the I's. Yep, that's correct. All right, let's see if we got any good nuggets. Let's see if we got any good nuggets here we could pull. We got already a really good one there off of Breitbart. Off of population approaches, foreign population approaches 50 million. So Trump is warning against atomic voter registration. Published Trump poll. Just try to see. They're going, it's nonstop politics in America. And it, you know, I'll be straight up with you guys. I'd be drained. I'd be tired. If I was an American, I'd be wearing earplugs 24/7. Literally earplugs. Because it's campaigning. 24/7 campaigning. And more campaigning. Imagine 24/7 campaigning. Hey, it's 4 years away. Hey, it's 3 years away. What are you doing? They should have campaign limits. And I've been talking about this on the channel since 2016. They need to have campaign limits in America. Start campaigning the month of or 2 months before. It's crazy. Campaigning. I'd lose my mind. I would completely be oblivious to everything. And if I was in America, I'd be doing my thing, feeding my family, taking care of stuff. I would shut out all the news. I wouldn't even want to be part of all that news. It's just campaigning. And it's broken. I don't know how Americans feel about this. Maybe comment below and let me know if you're in America, what you feel about nonstop campaigning. Canada, you get a bit, but Canada's like, it's in the closet. We already know the selections and everything that's happening here and what is going down here in Canada. Well, some of us do, right? So that's campaigning. Yeah, term limits. Remember what that Macron said? I got to be careful here because I'm on all platforms. I'm not going to swear here. Remember what Macron said? F term limits. Remember? We covered that on Mike of the Night 3 weeks ago. And France is the one that's spearheading. France is spearheading this campaign against social media. Try to see if there's any good nuggets here for you guys tonight. Okay, AOC. I'm just trying to see if there's anything. Wow, DiCaprio funding big oil lawsuits. All right, here we go, folks. Leonardo DiCaprio is now funding GOP lawmakers probing big oil lawsuits that allegedly received funding from Leonardo DiCaprio. The same guy that has a 3,000-foot, 2 billion-foot yacht, and the Brazilian president, Bolsonaro, was making fun of him, talking about climate change and saving the world, and he's on a yacht burning I don't know how many thousands of liters of diesel per hour to keep, or gas or whatever the thing runs on. And 2 prominent Republican lawmakers are probing a series of lawsuits against major oil companies brought by California law firm Scher Edling. So you guys remember that since the Biden administration selection took office, they automatically canceled several thousand, they're up to 32 or 33,000 canceled drilling permits, oil permits, drilling permits, all kinds of permits are canceled. And Biden basically, first day in office, canceled the big pipeline in Canada and canceled a lot of jobs. And everybody, 98% of the people that I know, like in my town, loves Joe Biden. They love Hillary Clinton. They love Barack Hussein Obama. They just love him. And when Biden got selected, everybody was laughing and coming in because I'm a conservative. I'm very conservative, and they were just coming in, making fun of me and laughing at me. And hours after he's in, boom, he cancels the pipeline. Albertans are out of a job, and everyone says, "Well, he has to do that. He needs to save future generations." And yeah, let's get back onto the story here. I kind of wanted to tell you guys that. So, dark money funding for their suits, with claims that Leonardo DiCaprio has indirectly funneled money into the effort through his environmental fund. Let's see if there's a picture of his boat here. I don't have a picture of his boat here. So, he's basically funding the war against oil, even though oil is a natural resource that the earth does produce. It's infinite. We have enough oil right now on this earth. It's who controls it, right? You see, once the West loses control over oil, guess what happens? They don't want no one to have it, right? So if America loses its foothold in the Middle East, guess what happens? Nobody can have oil, right? Nobody can have oil. Same thing like East Timor. You guys know what happened in East Timor, in Portuguese Timor. They pushed the Portuguese out. Australians armed the Indonesians to go murder the Catholics. Because the oil line for East Timorian oil line is in their waters, in their jurisdictional waters. But Australia wanted that oil. Right? You honestly think I don't know what I'm talking about? Huh? Anyways, but that's right there, guys, and that's what's going down. And let's see if we can find Leonardo DiCaprio. I want to see Leonardo DiCaprio's boat, please. Let's see if it comes up here. There it is. Leonardo DiCaprio's yacht. So the guy that's telling you... There it is, folks. The same guy that's telling you, I don't know how much fuel. This thing must burn a ton. Oh, there he is with Greta Thunberg. After they pull the trigger, after they pulled the whole climate change thing, and then they pulled the trigger right on the pandemic when there was no confidence in governments. There's his yacht right there. $150 million super yacht. Self-proclaimed environmentalist. Wow, I love these guys. Self-proclaimed. I wonder if they make their own awards and give them to each other. Yeah, they do. It's called the Davos Group and the G20 or G whatever and WEF. They make these guys are so pathetic that they make their own awards and give them to themselves. That's how pathetic these people are. And this guy here is coming here to tell us about climate change and global warming. You're ordering me out, pal. You better get your own army, pal. So, there it is right there. Wow, it's got a whole deck in the back. Look at the seating area there. Oh, lots of room for tons of migrants to live on there. And have families and stuff. Look at this. It's called the Topaz. Environmentalist. Someone in the comments is saying when Leo won his first Oscar, he gave a climate change speech. Yeah, but when his first Oscar, that must have been global warming. When Al Gore said that Florida will be underwater by 2012, that must have been around that time. Was global warming? Was the global warming one? Because now it's climate emergency now, or climate burning. Well, I don't even know what it is anymore. So I don't know what it is. So it's beyond me. Woo! Special, very last minute edition. We got Lord Humongous on the channel. I see him there. If voting counted, they would make it illegal, says Mark, aka Mark Twain. Yeah. I hope his yacht hits an iceberg. Remember that? I love Titanic. Iceberg, straight ahead. Thank you. The guy's on the phone. Thank you. So... all right, let's get this guy off of here. He's making my stomach sick. All right, what's RT? Okay. What is RT reporting here? So, Slava Ukraini, how Canada feted a World War II Nazi veteran and unleashed an international scandal. Ooh, let's go recap. So this is all over the news. Everyone's talking about this. We did cover this on the last Mic in the Night, and we did cover when they were walking out of the building and everyone was booing them and swearing at them and all kinds of stuff. But you got to watch that stuff on Mic in the Night, though. The Mic in the Night, you got to watch that stuff because it's too scandalous for all media. So every Saturday except this Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, Slava Ukraini. I can't even. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. How Canada feted a World War II Nazi veteran and unleashed an international scandal. House Speaker Anthony Rota has apologized to the Jewish community for honoring an ex-member of the SS unit in the chamber. And there's Zelensky there. They're putting up their hands. I don't know if what they're hailing here. A couple of people applauding back here. The Speaker of the Canadian House of Commons was left red-faced after honoring an elderly Ukrainian war veteran in the chamber in front of the visiting Ukrainian president. The Canada-based hero served in Germany Nazi unit. The Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's office has thrown Speaker Anthony Rota under the bus, saying he was not aware of the Yugoslav Hunka's allegiance during World War II when he joined the celebration alongside Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky. The incident sparked outrage from the Jewish organizations, who said the unit's record of atrocities must be obfuscated. So, Nazi soldier in World War II, there's the outcry. Admitting the mistake, outrageous negligence. So, they have to, mainstream media or Canadian media or whatever, they have to jump on this one. The media lies 24/7, but they have to come out and apologize on this one. They have to, because it's just too blatant, right? If it was something else, then they could lie, and then they could Photoshop a picture of the guy that they're honoring and make it look like, no, what are you talking about? It's fake news. He was part of the Americans, actually. He wasn't he was an American that was there. This Slava Ukraini was an American, and they'll Photoshop him in an American GI jersey and say, look at the medals of honor. He's American. Instead of building on the lie and adding to the lie and mounting up more lies, they just went out and said, look, we screwed up this one big time. We have no idea. We have no idea how to run council. We have no idea how to set these things up. We have no idea what we're doing with taxpayers' money. We have no idea how to run this damn country. We have no idea if we're tricking or treating. Okay? So that's now that they've opened this can of worms, why don't they start unloading and apologize, like they said here? Why don't they admit the mistake on everything else? You might as well open the can of worms. You open the can of worms, you might as well take the road down. Right? You might as well take the full road and start admitting everything instead of creating a lie for a lie, because we're entering stroke season now. Right? I'll play the video. We're going into stroke season now, folks. Okay? Next week, what is it? October 3rd or October 4th, we are going into stroke season. So I think it's very important that you guys understand that. Okay? So, yep. So let's go back here to RT and see what else there were. You see, Canada saluting Ukrainian Nazi was no coincidence. It just goes on and on. Putin hates Hillary Clinton. Everybody hates Hillary Clinton. I'm sorry. Putin hates Hillary Clinton. I'm sorry, everyone hates Hillary Clinton. But here in the town I live in, they love Hillary Clinton. In the town I live in Merritt, British Columbia, they love Hillary Clinton. And I've had several people who don't shop at my store and don't acknowledge my existence in town because they've already told me that Donald Trump stole the election from Hillary Clinton, and that's why he won the election. I'm not making this up. I have people that blatantly hate me because Hillary Clinton, they even want to put a brass statue of her in one of our parks here, of her and Barack Obama next to each other in brass, and two statues. Right? In Canada, in a small town with 2 stoplights. Right? Wow, I got like 6 numbers calling me out. Guys, I'm not taking in calls again because we are not, unfortunately, we are not on Rumble. We will be taking calls on Rumble, folks. So if that's okay, I won't be taking in calls here on Mike in the Night tonight because I can't control people's speech, and I don't want to. And I don't want to get my channel terminated, right? So yeah, T. Lawton's saying crazy. Yeah, it's Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Clinton are like the two saviors, two saviors here in my town, and it's pretty deep. It runs pretty deep. Yes, I'm censored on YouTube, Steve. I can't say nothing on YouTube, buddy. I'm just doing a very special Mike in the Night aftermath. We're episode 524, and I'm on multiple platforms. You're going to have to go back. Here, guys, I'll show you what the last episode of Mike in the Night looks like. You have to go on Rumble, and then you'll get... last episode of Mike in the Night is 523, and we had God Rules on there. There it is, 523 God Rules. This is a really good episode of Mike in the Night. It's a very good episode of Mike in the Night. Really good callers. And we had Tony in from God Rules. Let me see if I have him. There he is right there. We had Tony in from God Rules breaking down some headlines with me and talking about a few things here on the show. It was a really good show. I was really happy. There's Trudeau getting...
settling.
What was it here? Getting cussed out. There it is, outside getting cussed out. But... We took on a one first time caller and a couple other callers, but we have to be careful on YouTube and Facebook, so we'll just get terminated on here, and one suspension after another, right? So Steve is saying, yeah, I hear you. So go back to this episode here. I'll put this here. You want to bookmark this for later or watch it later? Here you go. Watch that later. That's the last episode, the real episode of Mike in the Night, 523. Watch that. Uncensored. Tons of callers. Here, I'll even put it in Rumble. So there it is right there. Rebel Mama. Sorry, okay, we get it. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you guys over in Rumble. I just didn't see any comments there. I didn't think nobody was tuning in. Because it is an unscheduled show, so there's nobody on Odyssey. So, all right, back to YouTube, guys. And Facebook. I'm not ignoring you guys on Facebook. Here, guys. Here's Facebook right here. Boom. Boom. There it is right there. If you guys don't mind, there's the last. That's the show you're going to want to watch. That Mike in the Night is the one you want to watch. All right, so let's move it along here. Okay, what's happening? Oh, man, Australia is just full of... Australia is completely full of advertising on their page. It's crazy. It's hard to navigate. I just want to see if there's any news. The unthinkable could happen if you vote no. This is Australian news. People are starving. So as people are starving to death in Australia, and people can't even afford to pay their rents, and more people are being evicted, and more people are dying unexpectedly, the Australian media is doing a really terrible job covering anything. There's nothing on here. Fairness breaks. Unthinkable could happen if you vote no. Silverchair imploded. Qantas $80 million move. Damn, $80 million move for an airline in Australia. Leonardo DiCaprio's boat's like $200 million bucks. So I don't know what this... AFL stars drunken. This is Australian news. As Australian... Oh, here we go. Bloodbath for property giant as 87% wiped. Schumacher joke. Man. Yeah. Australia's going through a really tough time. A very tough time right now. Economically, financially. Interest rates are going to go up again. And housing is set to go up still. Even though there's people paying $700, $800, $900, $1,000 a week for rent. A week for rent. A week. Una semana for rent. So they're like... I don't know if I'm on the wrong Australian, but this is national breaking news. Okay, let's go to Victoria. Okay, let's go to Victoria and see what comes up. They want to bring stranded ISIS brides home to Australia. Roller coaster... Truck rolls on the freeway. Wow. Is there economic, entertainment, lifestyle, world, finance? Okay, let's go to the finance section here in Australia. See what they have to say. Shock price of popular summer fruit. So they're commenting here on the price of food. Reason Aussies hit with higher airfare prices. Bloodbath, property giant 87% wipe. Chaos looms as water workers to strike. So public sector's striking more because they're not making enough to live in their own country. And that's usually what happens. Public sector strikes for more, and then governments go broke, and public sector doesn't make the money, and you see a massive breakdown in the economic society. All right. Let's keep going on here, folks. Okay, what's happening here in Canada? Nazi veteran to invite profoundly embarrassing, Trudeau says, as Rhoda faces calls to resign. And what else? Canadian Air Force investigating inappropriate and unapproved call sign broadcast on UK flight. Wow. It's just this tons of virtue signaling, man. Deeply hurtful Polish ambassador calls out Parliament. Doug Ford. Hey, remember Fat Face Ford? He's on the Canadian news. Doug Ford still under fire over multi-level scandal. Oh, there's all kinds of scandals going on. But they're not going to go to jail or anything. Oh, here it is. We got some good news if you're living in Canada. Good news if you're living in Canada. There it is. Canada approves Ebola virus vaccine for adults exposed to the deadly disease. Wow, we have Ebola in Canada. Wow. Ottawa, Canada has approved a vaccine to prevent Ebola in non-pregnant and otherwise healthy adults aged 18 and older. The Public Health Agency Canada, PHAC, says the single dose of a Vebro vaccine should be offered to persons who have been exposed to Ebola virus in Canada. There was an Ebola outbreak in Canada? Like, for real? I mean, like, for real. I'm talking like monkeypox real. I'm not talking about all the other real. I'm talking, there's all kinds of, wow. The agency that says that the shot is not meant for routine immunization, nor for vaccination before travel. Okay. It adds that it may be considered for use in pregnant or in immunocompromised people who have been exposed to the virus in a lab or healthcare setting, or to infants and children after exposure. How do infants and children get exposed to Ebola virus in a lab? Like, can they even keep their lies straight? The United States approved Evobro in 2019, and at least one case has been reported since then. One case? So they're funding with taxpayers' money to create a vaccine, right? I got to be careful how I word this. And because of one case reported, was it even for sure? What did they use, the PCR test for that one too? Did they go on the PCR says he's got Ebola, man. Yeah, check it out, essay. Smoke. Yeah, man, that's Ebola. Yeah, I'm gonna ash in the PCR test. Yeah, let the patient know they got Ebola. Yeah. 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 There we go. Let's keep moving on here. Okay. West's brutal political pressure on Iran futile will not go unanswered. Beijing blasts EU's anti-subsidy probe into Chinese electric cars. Now, we showed you guys entire graveyards of Chinese electric cars. So Beijing expresses strong dissatisfaction with EU's anti-subsidy probe into Chinese electric cars. So I wonder what's going to happen in the winter when these batteries start to dwindle out and die on highways, right? And China has strongly criticized the European Union's plan to probe into Chinese electric cars with the alleged goal of outing whether their price are kept low as a result of state subsidies provided to their producers. So they're trying to, obviously, there's taxation, embargoes, and price hikes when things get imported into other countries. And so China's Global Times describes EU probe and EVs excessive, rooted in jealousy. The matter constitutes the highest profile case against China since the EU probe into Chinese solar panels narrowly avoided a trade war a decade ago. I remember that. I remember even covering that, right? So let's type in right now live with you guys. Electric car graveyard. China's abandoned electric cars pile up over EV boom. So this was covered on Mike in the Night, and there it is, folks. Let's full screen this. These are all new EVs, all electric cars. And obviously you could tell they were driven here, so they obviously worked. And some of them have stickers on the windows, so they were actually being driven. You could see some of those stickers on them, on the windshields right here. You see them? Different stickers, different stickers, different stickers, different stickers, different regions of the country, different provinces, different days to drive. There it is right there, folks. And they're all new. They're all the same, pretty much the same model. Well, there's a couple of different models there. So look at this. China's abandoned obsolete electric cars are piling up in cities. Now, what does this remind you of, guys? Well, it's all money laundering, and it's obviously trying to get these contracts and stuff, but there's something else. Remember this? We covered it on the channel. Look at this, live on Mike of the Night. China's empty cities. The story of China's ghost cities and its 65 million empty homes. What's the connection between electric cars, Mike? Everything's connected. All these are empty. All these hold value. And they're treating the housing market like a stock market. And that's why Paris, Toronto, Vancouver, LA, Los Angeles, Seattle, I could keep naming cities for hours that are completely turned into empty shells and drove up the housing prices because of this garbage. The Chinese built up a bunch of towers and buildings, and nobody lives in them. They're completely empty. 65 million empty homes across, and there it is, ghost cities all over the place. And we covered this back in 2016, 2017, and we covered this for years on the channel, and we were mentioning how many people were living in poverty, right? We're living in poverty in China, and the amount of retirees. China, you know that? Did you guys know that there's roughly 22 million people retiring in China this year in 2023? 23 million retirees this year. So they've created these artificial cities. They're not even real. They're real, but they don't, they're all empty. Nobody lives in them, but they're all valued. They all have a value to them. You just can't go in there and walk in and squat because they're all owned by somebody, but they're all empty. So this is old England in China. They built reconstructed an old England in China, and it's all empty. And this would be China's demise. This would be the demise. These artificial bubbles that they've created in their economic system will be their demise. And I thought I'd share that with you. And that, yes, it does connect to EV cars and all the contracting and all the abandonment and take the money and run mentality. While middle-class Americans, middle-class Canadians, middle-class Australians, middle-class that work 2 jobs have to live in friggin' tents now. So Natalie's saying, the night I've had, if I called, this channel would be banned within 3 minutes. Yep, Big Rob New Zealand. And now Big Rob New Zealand, we were very in-depth about something. And we did a trends in the housing market back in 2014, and I'm pretty sure Big Rob New Zealand knows this episode, where we were doing a list of countries that you cannot buy real estate in. And China was one of them. Mexico was one of them. There's a lot of countries that you could not buy real estate in. You just can't walk in and buy real estate in those countries. But for other people could come into these countries and just buy up the real estate like no one's business with laundered money, right? And China was one of them. Mexico, oh, Mike, what are you talking about Mexico for? You could buy a property. My uncle is an expat. He lives in Mexico. He doesn't own the land he's on. He owns the house he's in, but he doesn't own his land. It's on a lease. Only Mexicans are allowed to own land in Mexico. I lived in Mexico for 2 years. I tried to buy a house in 2 different states. In Guerrero, and I tried to buy what's the other state? I tried to buy in Guerrero, and I tried to buy in the other state there. What was it? Puebla. I tried to buy a house in Puebla. Okay? And I was looking at one in Tampico, too. I was all around. Trust me, in Veracruz, I know. Right? You made my comments sound like a threat, Mike. Same in Philippines, says Steve S. Yeah. All right, we are multi streaming here. Our Rumble's moving on nicely here. Well, we got quite a few people here on Rumble. I didn't expect anyone to show up on Rumble. Guys, just a channel update, guys. Mike in the Night will not be this Saturday on the September 20th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, was it 29th? We'll be moving into the Sunday. Let me just get my calendar, my trusty calendar open here. Yeah. Mike in the Night will be moved to Sunday, October 1st. The next episode of Mike in the Night, if that's okay, because it's my wife's birthday on Saturday, and I'll be celebrating that with her. So we will be live on the Sunday, okay? All right, guys. So we're kind of censored tonight. I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't have the Joe Pesci soundboard tonight. I have some soundboard here, but I got to.
Hello.
I got to be careful what I use here. I just don't want to get kicked off, right?
You're talking about all man.
All right, guys, let's do a quick channel plug, guys, if that's okay. If you guys want to actually fund the transmission and make sense of funding the transmission, guys, I left a link in the description of the video. I got my glutathione on. I got 2 glutathiones in. And I want to tell you guys something. I'm not selling, I'm telling. I don't know what it is, but it works. I don't know. Is it the placebo? I don't affect that it's in my mind. No. I feel very clear. My mind is clear. My vision's even clearer. I'm wearing sunglasses through the whole damn show. I don't know what's going on with the glutathione. I'm going to get our girl back on in a couple of weeks that knows the product really well. And she sits in Zoom meetings and stuff. And if you guys want to support the transmission, go here and sign up. It's free. Just sign up. It's free. Here, it's free. Just go sign up. Read the newsletters. Read what's going on. Anyone and everybody could use something to help them in life. And I don't know what's going on with this thing. I've taken supplements my whole life. I've taken TA65. I've taken all kinds of different supplements in my life. And let me tell you guys, this is something else. Oh, I got people watching on Facebook. I got 7 people on Facebook watching. Thanks, guys, for being here on Facebook. My Facebook, guys, is now back on shadow ban mode. I blew up on Facebook for a little while, and then it shut right down. But glutathione, guys, there's a link in the description. I have it right here. Didn't even open it yet. It's not even open. It's still sealed. I got 2 bottles in today. Very excited, very excited. I'm going to keep taking it, and I'm going to tell you guys my progress as I go with it. And I'm really enjoying taking this. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to tell you guys. I want to tell you, I don't want to sell you, because I'm not for sale. And just go ahead and sign up and sit down on a Zoom meeting, maybe read an email or 2, maybe get what do you call those things in the mail? Not in the mail, you get like a newsletter or 2 in your email and read about it, because this might be a big game changer. This stuff might be a really, really big game changer when it comes to your day in, day out. Okay, we got Junkyard Dog in the house there. Okay, Terry. Terry's in the house. Terry's saying, I used it 4 days and I feel the effects. That's what Terry's saying in the comments. Thanks, Terry. Okay, yeah, so I don't know what to say. I'm just letting you know. I'll give you, in a couple of weeks, I'll get the representative back on to explain this, because if this can make you feel good, I mean good, like I'm off the wall, man. But I'm a good off the wall. I'm not a hyper crazy. I'm a good off the wall, clear, composed, focused, sleep good at night, and yeah, feel good at night, feel good on the show. Woo! All right, folks. All right. So clarity. Clarity is huge, man. Driving, doing things, just staying focused and just staying focused and being on the ball and feeling good, you know. I want to come on. When I come on and do Mike of the Night, I want to be in a good mood with you guys. I want to be happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy and grateful and all that stuff. And just feeling wood, you know? Feeling wood tonight. Crazy freak out Mike is good too. Maybe it's relaxing you, Mike. Man, who knows, man? Who knows what it's like? Yeah, it is doing something. It definitely is. They have clinical trials. They have a lot of, you know, when people give feedback or testimonials, thousands of testimonials on the website. So sign up under my name, folks, if you want to fund the transmission and you want to feel good. And I was going through some older videos here and kind of reminiscing on some of the work I did. Man. Crazy. Very crazy. And everything that's happening today, look, it's almost... This is really weird, folks. Because everything that's happening today is like it was already happening before. But it's almost like... Almost nobody really... It's not that they didn't care. They didn't see it as a threat. People were in over their heads financially. People were in so much debt. People did not know how to keep their heads above water. I mean, I could find a million reasons why nobody was paying attention to the news 6 years ago. So here we are 6 years ago. Look at this. Young families leaving big cities. Massive brain drain ahead. Canada to take on 400,000 immigrants per year. Canada to take on wealthy immigrants to buy our expensive housing right here. So everything that's happening from immigration to housing, and look, foreign investing, look, Chinese investors, Toronto home prices invaded by investors. This will cause mass exodus of middle Canadian class. Look, food shortages 6 years ago. Housing affordability out of reach. But why is it now? Why is it becoming something today, folks? Why wasn't anyone paying attention? Look, get out of Vancouver by 2018 or else. Property tax to impoverish the middle class, you will be taxed to death. Get out of Vancouver by 2018. Wow. Just reminiscing through this and reading some of these. Economies becoming dependent on the housing market. Food shortage coming 6 years ago. And you know why I made this video? Because in Canada, they were buying up farmland in Canada. The Chinese investors were buying up farmland 100 times over the suggested retail price. 100 times over the price. And we covered it on the show. Look at this. Bitcoin may hit 10K in 2018. China will own Canada by 2020. New Zealand selling off its own country. China, capital flows restriction 6 years ago. It's kind of weird how everything that's happening today was happening 6 years ago. It's right here. Economic war on the horizon. China said war with the U.S. under Donald Trump becoming a political reality. Vancouver, BC, homeless out of control. Toronto, severely unaffordable. Young families leaving. CCP money laundering 6 years ago. Toronto housing takeover. Now, a one bedroom in Toronto, what did we say in the last video? $2,700 or something stupid like that? But this was happening already before. But why is it front and center? Is this the distraction our governments are looking for? Our governments are going to front and center everything now because they want to erase the last 3 years of bullshit, right? It's wake up, Toronto will be worse than Vancouver 6 years ago. And guess what? Toronto's worse than Vancouver. We have all the cities. We have New York here, Australia, Australian families in big trouble, New Zealand housing disaster. Don't move to Vancouver. Right? Vancouver disappearing middle class. Here comes China. Wow. Look at this. It's crazy. Banks pumping up real estate. Look, $15 a night rental opportunity. Look, let's sleep in a van. Look at that. $15 a night 6 years ago. Wow. It's crazy. Look, China's $10 trillion shadow maze. We are getting destroyed. Shadow banks destroying Canada. And it was happening in California. Yes, we did cover that in California and Washington and Oregon. And remember the lumber wars, folks, 6 years ago? Remember the lumber wars we were reporting on? And huge lumber problems? Wow. Credit account counseling. Chinese economic takeover of Canada. Wow. Man. This is nuts. See, I did put like other videos in there so the channel won't get to try and like change the algo a bit or whatever. And we did, you know, like a couple of videos here, a couple of videos there, outside the norm. And look at this one. Chinese retreat from Australian shadow banking would destroy middle-class Canadians and Americans. Launder your money in Canada. Man, this goes on for hours and hours of just... Look, tax to death, gone by 2021. Big box stores under the axe. Massive closures by 2021. I have forecasted. Wow. Get out of the city now. Cost of fuel and getting out of reach. Basic housing overpriced 5 years ago. New Zealand ban on foreign home. Remember when New Zealand wanted to ban foreign home ownership? Remember that, folks? Wages are not in line with housing prices. Canadians will leave 5 years ago. And the feds were even watching Canadian housing because of the money laundering right here. Americans, the feds, realized that Canadian real estate is way overpriced and money laundering hitting American territory. Look at this. Middle class to disappear by 2023 at the rate housing is going up. So there's the middle class, 1945 to 2023. Rest in peace. Chinese to take over Seattle housing market. I just can't believe how much work I did. I just can't believe it. How much massive rent increases ahead. Yeah. Been with you guys for so long now. For so long. Good for you. Angie Rainbow saying, I turned the yard into a food forest. It's worth it. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. It's just one after another, after another, after another. We did a lot of food videos too. Look, food going up way fast. Living a basic lifestyle is getting expensive. Food going up fast. $401 of basic groceries. I make a video there. Middle class to be wiped out by 2018. Rates going up in Australia. Wow, it's just a trip down memory lane. I like doing this sometimes with you guys. White people who practice yoga contribute to racism. That's when they were starting that whole taking down the statues. We were covering that on Mike of the Night. Canada is dying. Unexplained real estate price hikes. New Zealand economic takeover. Digital book burning. This is all 5 years ago now, folks. We're into the 5-year territory ago. America is a national security threat. Chinese government is panicking. Is picking Canada apart. Yeah. America, this is a national security threat. The Chinese government is picking Canada apart. China by 2025. Australian fraudsters. Immigration destroying Australian housing affordability. The strata mafia we talked about. The Great Canadian Housing Correction. Canadian real estate debt passed 76% of GDP. That's major, folks. When you have something like this happen, I don't know why no one cared about this. Canadian real estate debt passed 76% of GDP, mass inflation to hit by 2022. Why didn't no one care about this? Because this means your kids, your grandkids, and your great-grandkids can't buy a house. And I don't know why this wasn't... I don't know. I just don't know why none of this mattered at the time. Why, massive damage ahead. Massive vax damage ahead. They will force us on a jab by 2020. Mass immigration, CCP takeover. And that's what very controversial video I made there. And then it goes into this. Stop forcing me to trust the science. When was this made? 5 years ago. And I was pretty angry in that video. And you have to read... Okay, is it this one? Let me just see this one here. Yeah, this one's pretty... It's a pretty deep video. Yeah, so you got to read some of these comments I pinned here. I don't want to read them out loud. I don't want to read them out loud, but you got to read those ones there where they're basically going to force everybody onto some arm candy, right? And, yeah. Wow. It's been a walk down memory lane, guys. It's been definitely a long time, and, you know... They're already setting up 15-minute city in my town in California. And we did discuss 15-minute cities briefly on the channel, like 6 or 7 times. Or I think I was calling them 15-minute towns. Here it is, right here. Watch this. Big cities are becoming more and more antisocial. 15-minute cities on the rise as people comply. 5 years ago. Big cities are becoming more and more antisocial. Employers and employees, student loan debt, being in debt or taking on too much debt can have a significant impact on an individual's mental health. And then we talked here... 15, no... Stack them up, condense more people, 15-minute cities coming soon, 6 years ago. People receiving warnings in the mail about 5-minute neighborhoods. That was 4 months ago, that doesn't count. And 15-minute cities, that's 6 months ago, that doesn't count. It's stuff that's all pre-COVID that matters to me. It's because, you know, getting the message out and trying to make the difference or trying to create awareness to these problems that we have. All right, who else is here tonight? I wonder if we have Johnny Lombardi here tonight. Yeah, it's very tough to buy a house in Sudbury. Now, Sudbury, Ontario is obviously way out of the way, Ontario. We're talking way out of the way, Ontario. We're talking way out of the way, Ontario. And I've been to Sudbury. I've been to the Four Corners where the 4 banks are. I don't know if it's still there. And I used to stay at the Ambassador Hotel. I used to stay in the Michael Jackson suite at the Ambassador Hotel in Sudbury, Ontario. Don't know if it still exists. So we got Ren Ada in the house, Michael, in the house. So we got people in I don't have too many people on Facebook watching, but we're back on Shadowban on Facebook. My Facebook ride is over. And, yeah. Yeah, we got Peter O'Brien saying 15-minute cities will never work in New Zealand. Too few people and services are too far apart. Even driving across Auckland takes hours. It's a nightmare getting across those cities. Those cities were only designed for a lot less amount of the population that currently is living there now. Those cities were designed for a lot less people. Like Vancouver was designed for maybe 200,000 people. I think there's like 6, 7, 800,000 because they stacked it up, right? All right, let's see what else we got. Let's look at some more headlines, folks. We got some time here still on Mike of the Night. And I like hanging out here with you guys. I gotta wet my beak there. All right, so we got here Zero Hedge is reporting a few things. Busted Adam Schiff funneled millions to defense contractors after taking donations. Just allegations. Mendes refuses to resign amid bribery scandal claims. Seized $480,000 was for emergencies. So, Oregon Sheriff's Association says FBI position makes it impossible to legally buy guns. They're gonna do what they did. They're gonna start obviously taking the guns, and I'm begging Americans to not give up their guns. Please don't give up your guns. I'm begging you. Please, please, please. You guys give up your guns, Canada's dead. We're dead. Canadian proper's dead. Biden opens diplomatic ties with Cook Islands and NIUE in bid to steer Pacific away from China. And White House pledges $100 million to support Kenyan UN soldiers in Haiti. And Toyota planning to triple EV output to 600,000 vehicles by 2025. Justin Trudeau's Nazi hot take flexibility. Warning of Russian disinformation. Now he's blaming Russia for his screw up. Typical. U.S. to keep paying salaries for tens of thousands of Ukrainians during government shutdown. Man, I feel sorry for him. I totally feel sorry for Americans, man. They're getting bled dry to fund these wars that have nothing in store for the American proper. American proper is hung to dry. Gold is more credible than stocks, homes as China consumers invest in the metal. And do you remember back in 2019 when we were breaking news, we had Shanghai Charlie? Do you guys remember Shanghai Charlie when he came on the show? He was reporting for us on the ground in China, and was giving us an update. This was mid-2019, where Chinese investors or Chinese people were buying gold, and they were paying over spot price for gold, and there was people scrambling to buy gold in China. Well, here it is. Now, look at it today. Today, what? 2023, right? September 25th. Now, fast forward 5 years. Why a weak yuan is spurring a retail gold rush in China. And this was happening in 2018, 2019. We covered this. It's happening again. No confidence in real estate, no confidence in stocks, no confidence in government, no confidence in confidence. What do people do? They go buy gold and silver. Okay? The spread between the domestic and international price for the precious metal is at a decade high. Chinese consumers are racing for safety as they see their assets dwindle. So as Chinese assets begin to dwindle, let's find the video here. As Chinese assets begin to dwindle, guess what? People are going to run for gold. And fake gold bars. Right here. Shanghai Charlie was reporting for us. Chinese citizens paying 30% over spot gold 4 years ago. And we covered that. Right there. Chinese frenzy. And buying gold over spot. 30%. And I see it happening because it was happening in 2019. When was this? 4 years ago. So this would have been, let's get the exact date on this so we know what we're talking about here. August 24th, 2019. Okay. So we were already seeing things hit the fan. Remember, the whole world was protesting? Summer of 2019, the year of the protest. Remember that? The whole world was protesting no confidence in government. What were people doing? They were buying gold. People were buying gold over spot price. Right? So Chinese consumers are racing for safety as they see their assets dwindle. And guess what? That's exactly why they were doing it before in 2019. With the yuan weak, housing in the doldrums and the stocks as insecure as ever, China's working and middle class are turning to one investment option that is regaining some shine: gold. For Chinese consumers with limited access to overseas investment products, the precious metal is one of the few ways they can try to counter the shrinking value of their assets. And gold is a good way, again, to hedge against inflation, hyperinflation, and physical gold is good to have because obviously it maintains value. Obviously, it's been money since the time of Moses or before the time of Moses. I don't even know, but it goes way back, and it's always been, it's always been tried, tested, and true. Gold is the thing. So now, this is just a sign. We're going back to 2019. We're going back to no confidence in government. We're going back into start stacking, start prepping, start preparing, start stocking. We've been talking about food, money in the bank years ago. Stock food. It doesn't hurt to buy food, especially the people that listened to me 2 years ago and stacked up a year's worth of food. Now they're looking at the price of food and said, man, Mike, I saved tens of thousands of dollars because I bought all this food. You were warning us. I bought a ton of food. Now, if I was to buy that food today, this canned food and dry food, if I was to buy that all today, it'd be double, triple the price. So good on people that bought their food when the time was right and the money was right. All right, let's move it on here. We got natural news here with Ethan Huff there. Let's go into some American news here. The Democrats are about to get blindsided by voters' wholesale rejection of their disastrous policies. All right, guys, I want to send this announcement out again. I want to make this announcement really clear. I made a short on this, and nobody really saw the video. It never got out. I really hope that RFK runs as an independent. He is obviously, he's a good politician. He's saying the right things. And he's making sense about a lot of things. And yeah, some of his policies were pretty shaky back last couple of years. And a lot of the things that he was for or against. But I really hope RFK could run as an independent, like we said 9 months ago when he was making noise. When RFK was making a ton of noise about 9 months ago, we were stating basically, run as an independent, because I believe there's going to be no Democratic primaries. I believe they're going to pick Joe Biden or select Joe Biden, and that's it. And Americans don't have a choice. And to make it fair and whole or whatever, or make it more transparent and fair and let the people vote for who they want, I think RFK would be a great choice for the Democrats. But the problem is, it's all political theater. They're not going to give him the chance, right? They're not going to allow him to speak. They're not going to allow him to be one of the front runners, right? I heard Gavin Newsom is going to stand in for Biden if there's any Democratic primaries. That makes absolutely no sense. So I'm asking RFK to run as an independent, but I also brought up something. Go find Jesse Ventura, former governor of Minnesota, 2 terms. Go find Jesse Ventura as a running mate. Jesse Ventura was on the ball for years. Jesse Ventura was awake for years. Jesse Ventura understood a lot of things that were happening in America. I think Jesse Ventura's wake-up call was 9/11, was his wake-up call. And I believe, I know it's all political theater, guys. I know it's all a selection. I know they're all playing for the same team. I get it, guys. but at least make it entertaining. At least put somebody there that's competent to talk to other countries. And I am a Canadian pleading to RFK to run as an independent. Go find Jesse Ventura as a running mate, please. And I hope this message gets out, because I think they would. I don't know if this is going to make a massive difference, but at least America won't look weak on an international level when there's Biden's visiting China. For what? You look like an idiot visiting China. Biden's going to go visit Putin. Biden's going to go visit the Brazilian president. For what? To make a fool of himself? Yeah, James Farmer is saying RFK is part of the good old boy network. I know, James. I know. I'm just saying this because I'm just sick and tired of these imbeciles representing these countries. At least have RFK would go there and start yelling at everybody and trying to put his foot down and make his case clear. At least Jesse Ventura would have more sense than these people, you know what I'm saying, that are there now. At least it'll be a better political theater, okay? At least. So, all politicians must go away, says somebody there in the chat. And someone's saying that Jesse pushed the arm candy. So, Iceman is saying in the comments, I left the GTA, that means the Greater Toronto Area, for relief, only to find out Sudbury is infested. Looks like Timmins is my next home. So these kind of little towns, these little towns in Canada, there's not a lot of them. But America has probably over 100,000 of these towns spread across America. These little towns. 6, 12, 14,000 people. Across America. You buy homes for $50,000, $60,000 in rural parts of Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. You could buy Louisiana. You could buy all kinds of good property, good weather, right? And I don't know why my Rumble is my Rumble freezing up, folks. Looks like my Rumble's freezing up. Property, good weather, it's back up, right? I'm getting the audio too. And I got nobody watching me on Odyssey. I got one person on Odyssey watching here. We have enough food to last until Christmas of 2024, says Aaron on Facebook. Yeah, good for you, buddy. That's what money in the bank. Food is money in the bank. And we've been prepping people, prep food. I even did a few jarring videos. I even did a few chorizo videos, smoking my own chorizo, Portuguese chorizo. I did quite a bit getting people ready for food, what kinds of food to buy, how to find expiry dates. I got 5,000 videos. I've been talking about stuff for years now. And okay, I'm opening my glutathione here, folks. I'm kind of excited to. I got the seal broken here. I'm very excited to take. I'm going to take this right now live on air for you guys. And I'm kind of excited. I'll give you guys the link to the glutathione if you guys want to pick some up and you want to support the transmission. I just ripped off the safety here. It's right there. And if you guys want to support Mike in the Night and actually feel good, give it a try. We already had somebody in the comments say they have taken it and they're noticing a big difference after 4 days. My difference, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, has been very gradual. But you know what? It's been really good. It's been really good. There it is right there. Boom. There it is. Someone's Clumpy is asking, what is it about food, Mike? I don't get it, Mike. Well, we were telling people on the channel, we were making, those videos you see now on with the Twitter stars and all those people? Those videos you're seeing now, people, look what $100 food buys me and it gets 15 million views? Well, we were making those videos years ago, before these people even existed on social media. We were making food videos warning you guys about where food was going to go, and where food was headed. And prep now. Canadians starving, can't afford food. Canadians eating less due to food insecurity. Ireland is dying. Food prices. Tons of fast food, casual restaurant closures 3 years ago. Food prices to increase 67% in 2022. Food bank usage in Scotland hit record high. Some Americans have begun stealing food to survive. What else do we got here? Mike of the Night, massive food shortages ahead, going broke. Federalization of transport 3 years ago. Before all the transportation problems they were having. Food banks struggling. Massive food shortages coming. Food crisis ahead as governments seek to federalize our food distribution 3 years ago. Food prices spiking in a city near you. They can't hide the inflation anymore. People to starve by 2022. Look, $79 worth of food. What did I get? This video, if this video was made today, it'd get 15 million views. But because it's a post diction, right? But because I'm showing it from 3 years ago, what's going to happen? Nobody cares. They care about what's happening like exactly right now, and we already know it's happening right now. And I never understood the whole sensationalizing headlines thing with these content creators. Okay, I'm going to open the other seal here of this glutathione. All right, Real McCoy saying food doubles in 2024. Oh, yeah. Rick Lamira? Alex Jones and Mike Martins were right all along. No, Alex Jones is the godfather of conspiracy theories. Alex Jones is the godfather of all this stuff. I remember watching him so many years ago breaking open those TV converters. You remember those TV converters that for cable? Those cable converters, those boxes? I remember him online smashing them with a hammer, trying to get them open. To show that they were recording you and your family all day, all night long. Recording what you're saying in your house, right? Yeah, Indian international students in Canada are taking food bank donations from those who need it. Yeah, Canadian Proper is finished. I'm a Portuguese, right? When I started grade school in Canada, when we came to Canada, I was labeled, you are not a Canadian, you are a Portuguese. So ever since then, I'm a Portuguese. I'm a Portuguese citizen. I'm living in Canada. I'm dual citizenship. In grade school, high school, Portuguese kids, put your hands up. Go to the back of the class. I don't want to deal with you. That's in my high school. Yeah. It was glutathione. Okay, I'm getting it open, folks. I'm just going to take one. It's supposed to take 2 capfuls. Swish it around in your mouth. But I'm going to take one because it's nighttime. I'll take the rest. I'll take 2 tomorrow morning. And I think this lasts the shelf life of a month at room temperature. So after you open it, you don't refrigerate it. It has a shelf life at room temperature. Let me shake it up a bit. I'm going to take some here live with you guys. Pour my cap full. Well, that feels good. And you can feel that tingling in your mouth. You can really feel it. Like when it hits your mouth in the morning, because you're supposed to take this in the morning when you're putting your socks on, right? And yeah, you could really feel it. You could feel it. Like, I got to get that person one day to call in that's taking this. I got to get that guy on that told me in the comments he's been taking it for 4 days and he's really feeling a difference. Oh yeah, it's Mike in the Night's special last minute I love you episode. Yeah. And I want to send a special thanks to all the people that have been coming through to meet me. I've had quite a few people come and meet me, and I'm really appreciative of it. The amount of people from Alberta, Manitoba, just stopping and visiting me at the store, and they know where my store is because I make my live streams in the store. There's not a lot of people on mainstream media, social media, that you could just go and meet. Okay, there's probably some potato farmers, maybe a couple of people that do canning and stuff, and they have meetups and stuff. But guys that have been talking and discussing and prophesizing and putting their necks on the line and maybe on the edge more, you can't just walk in and waltz in and meet these people, right? You just can't go meet these people. I am accessible. I have nothing to hide. I'm in my store pretty much every day, and I'm a very accessible person. And we got Richard Foster in the house. Thanks for joining us, buddy. He's giving us updates on the New Zealand gas prices. I hope he's in New Zealand. I think he told me he was in New Zealand. Or was it Australia? Petrol, $12.95 a gallon for people in the US. Some free-range eggs are around $13 and charge per dozen. That's 91. Wow. $12.95 per gallon. That's a lot of cake, folks. That's a lot of cake. That's a lot of cake. I think we need Richard Foster. Yes, New Zealand. I think I need Richard Foster to add me on Skype and call me in. I'd like to hear from him. I got to be really careful when I'm on all platforms who calls in. I like to do the Mike in the Night on Rumble and Odyssey because it's just, we're cowboy on there. We're totally cowboy. We're swearing. People are calling in and giving us their stories straight up. We don't have to censor. We don't have to talk in code. We don't have to lie. Well, because when you're talking in code, it's almost like you're lying to somebody because you can't really tell them what you want to say because we are being censored, right? Someone saying same here, Natalie, in Victoria, BC as well. Real McCoy's in Maryland. It's $3.69 a gallon American in Maryland. So what is that? $3.69 is what? $4.95, $5.05 Canadian. Yeah. I buy free range eggs from our mechanic. I give him $6 anytime. Worth it. Yeah, just here with you guys in the comments on Mike in the Night. I wish I could play some music on here. Oh, Richard said he's in an office right now at work, and he wish I would call, but I'm in my office, and it's really noisy. That's okay, Richard. No worries, buddy. It's good that you're watching us at work, you know? It's good that you're watching us at work. Do you guys remember this? Do you guys remember back in 2016? I remember this. There was a lady that you used to call in to Trends in the Housing Market when we used to do our housing show, Economic Takeover Edition. There was a lady from Australia that called in to the show several times. She ended up getting found out by her employer that she was watching Trends in the Housing Market, and she got fired. And do you remember around that time, employers were asking for passwords to people's social media so they could get into? Do you remember that? Tell me if you remember this, because I don't want to be making stuff up here. Employers, I know it was predominantly in the United States and parts of Canada, they were demanding employees to give their passwords to all their social medias. That's crazy, folks. But I remember, I think her name was Natalia. She ended up getting fired from work because she was watching Mike in the Night and she was calling into Mike in the Night. And she worked in the real estate. She worked in the real estate. I don't know if anyone remembers her in the comments. If they could tell me if they remember her. She worked in the real estate field in Australia, and she called in a few times telling us how disastrous it was, and how overpriced, and how many laws were being broken, and how it was just money everywhere, and it was this game, you know. So Real McCoy is telling us in the comments he's got 12 eggs a day from my chickens. Good. I eat 4 to 6. 4 to 6. Oh, Alan Howick saying you could play Alan Howick music for free anytime, Mike. Okay. I'll look at your playlist there. Cash Malachi Chapel. Shalom, brother. Shalom. Good to see you. Good to see everybody here tonight on a very special last-minute super edition of Mike in the Night. We got a little bit of time left, so I'm going to wait a little bit. My kids came home, so I'm going to wait for them to shower, do their homework, shower, and get ready because later this evening we're watching Smallville, the TV show. So we're watching Smallville as a family, so we're almost done season 1. And the kids are really following it and enjoying the storyline and kind of understanding what's going on. And there's no woke, whatever crap or garbage like that. It's a really good, well-made... Oh my god, it's Ashima. Oh my goodness. Now, she's in the comments right now. Ashima has been watching this channel since when it was trends in the housing market. Years ago, it was trend. She's called into the show so many times to update us on what's happening. Yeah, it's so dark outside. Well, I still have a little bit of... I can still see a little bit of light outside, but it's still 7:21 where I am, folks. So, yeah. A little bit. I still have a little bit of light over the horizon there. Okay, let's do this, folks. Let's go over a few more headlines, and let me entertain you guys here for a little bit longer. And treason. Biden's Border Patrol cuts wire installed by Texas government, opening America's arms to illegal immigrants. Shameless. Biden's DHS appoints ex-Intel gaslighters as Homeland Intelligence experts. Yeah, these people are all out to lunch. They're all selected. None of these people are elected into office. They're just selected into their positions, and they have no idea if they're tricking or treating. Fox News leaks Biden's planned ICE ID card to keep track of illegal aliens. Turbo cancers. This is huge. And other unusual tumors, conditions appearing in very strange ways. So we got to be careful how we talk here. And the replacements, Biden regime to offer nearly 500,000 jobs to Venezuelan migrants flooding through America's southern border. And a lot of the jobs they're going to probably offer are public sector government 6-figure income jobs. So they could outpace local Americans that were educated in America, grew up in America, born in America, and stand up for the Constitution. So these, it's like that in Canada. It's all public sector. Okay, Donald Trump Jr. tweets his father is dead and North Korea is about to get smoked. Oh, hacked. Target of cyber attack Wednesday morning. Yeah, I'm trying to even delete my Twitter account, folks. I can't. It's giving me a really tough time to get it deleted. I don't know why. I'm so heavily shadow banned on Twitter, even worse than Facebook and YouTube on Twitter. It's so bad. There's a lot of Twitter stars on there, right? All right, guys, let's get into censorship news. And this is kind of important, and it's very important. Rumble could be banned in UK under new online safety laws. Again, they're creating these safety laws. They're creating these fake laws to purposely take away our freedoms take away our freedoms to give us more security, which they're not, and it's all BS. Rumble, the free speech video hosting website, could be banned in the UK under new online safety laws, as reported here a couple of days ago. The online safety bill was approved by the House of Lords on the 19th of September, but still needs official approval from the King before it can become law. This has not deterred the government from trying to coax platforms such as YouTube to ban Russell Brand due to allegations of historical abuse. But this Russell Brand thing is not a new... He was sex-fueled, drug-fueled up until they pulled the trigger on the pandemic. He turned on a dime for some reason and then changed his tune. But we knew he was already sex-fueled and drug-fueled. This is not news. They weren't doing nothing about it before, but now for some reason, and you guys know, we all know that basically France is also spearheading censorship. Macron wants to put France in the dark, and France was putting pressure on Twitter. Remember Twitter? France was looking to ban Twitter, right? And because of the free speech, or people allowing or being allowed to speak freely. But mind you, I'm severely shadow banned on Twitter. I post anything, nobody sees it, so it doesn't really matter. Or I post something, or I create a meme, or have some fun with something, and then all these truthers attack me. It's like, who are you? I never heard of you. Where'd you come from? No one knows you. Are you a post-COVID hero? Are you a COVID hero? So it's kind of weird. So anyways, again, as we reported last week, while YouTube dutifully obeyed, Rumble stayed true to their mission and responded, although it may be politically and socially easier to join the cancel culture mob. Doing so would be a violation of our company's values and mission. And finished with, we empathetically reject the UK's Parliament's demands. Thank you very much, Rumble, for standing up to the government tyranny, right? The gaslighting, everything, right? So you know what's going to happen? Rumble is just going to grow even bigger as people are seeing that Rumble is standing up. So let's go to Reclaim the Net. Let's go to Reclaim the Net real quick. And Reclaim the Net, we've been covering their stuff for years now. Well, since they opened their page. Media and architects of online censorship law heap pressure on Rumble after it defends principle of neutrality. So we just covered that, but it goes on this one to say the mounting pressure comes days after UK passed the online safety bill, and we've been covering the safety bill on here for a while now. One of the most sweeping censorship laws to ever be introduced in the UK. The controversial Censorship and Surveillance Bill is set to come into law next month. The Censorship and the Surveillance Bill, right? Remember the cameras they're putting up all over the UK? That is a major deal. And we are like covering that. We were covering that in depth, and the cameras were being broken and smashed. And right here, USA versus Google Week 2. And that is you got to pay for that one. TV networks join the pushback against Australia's proposed anti-misinformation law. Australia is going full-blown. They want the last 3 years to just completely disappear. They want the last 3 years to go off the books. So they're looking for... The truth's going to come out regardless, right? So in a bid to stand up for freedom of speech, Australia free-to-air broadcast networks have raised criticism and about a proposed legislation aimed at combating so-called misinformation. The targets of controversy are the bill's nebulous definitions of harm, potential violations of freedom of expression, and the risk of content censorship by social media platforms complying with government-imposed obligation, right? And it goes on to say, meanwhile, Free TV has already championed a total dismissal of all free-to-air content from the potential law. The Sydney Morning Herald reported the opposing side includes the Greens, who may have substantial influence if the law passes the Senate. They argue against giving exemption to news content, pointing fingers at News Corp as potential source of concern. So some of the news is starting to flip in Australia. So in Australia, they're starting to flip. Some of the mainstream media isn't bought and paid for like the Canadian media is fully bought and paid for. So what's happening in Australia, they're having troubles funding. So we got to start telling the truth in Australia. We got to start telling people what it is, what's going on, or we won't get any funding, right? So they're flipping the script in Australia. They're starting to change things around, and they're starting to tell the truth. And now even the mainstream media is now being seen as a threat by tyrannical governments. So you see how this is going here, and you see how this is playing out, right? So this is a big censorship that's happening, and Europe is going to be the first wall. Mark my words. Europe will be the first country to fall to censorship tyranny, in my opinion. Europe will fall first. Australia and New Zealand will go second, and then Canada, and then the United States will be last, right? And once we can't get our word out, it's almost impossible for us to convey information. We're going to have to go back to ham radios, go underground. It's going to be a nightmare, folks, and we need the continuity of relaying information and talking to each other as human beings to convey. That's why here we've been connecting the dots across the Commonwealth since 2012. Because what happens in Australia happens in New Zealand, happens in the UK, then it moves over to Canada, or Canada vice versa to Australia, or blue states of America to Canada, back to blue states, then back to Australia. They're all testing grounds. And they're treating us like animals. And now we can't even speak about it. Even the mainstream media can't speak about it. They went way too far, says Natalie Hilton. Oh, yes, they did. Yeah, 2024 is 1984. And we kept saying, guys, the answer to 1984 is 1776. The answer to 1984 is 1776. Let's rock and roll here, man. We're doing a really good rock and roll show here tonight on Mike in the Night. Very informative. Very cool people in the comments. Thank you for being here. And this is UK news. So this is the UK news here. This is their headlines. UK model targeted by a hitman. Face FBI. Groundbreaking technology. I mean, is there anything going on in the UK? Turkish radio DJ who was kidnapped and tortured to death. Is there anything? Well, I know there's a lot of stuff happening right now in the UK, but for some reason, the Daily Mail. Let's go to money. See what they got going on with their De Niro. Gen Z 3 times more likely to fall online scam. Oh my God. Okay, where's the news here? I was nearly scammed out of $1,000. Oh my God, where's the news? Now they're talking about college tuition in America. That's the UK's news. How's about there's more food banks in England than there is fast food restaurants? Like I don't know. Let's just move on. I'm not gonna waste my time with this. And Trudeau Liberals embarrass Canada. Provide fuel for Russian propaganda. Another tribute to World War II Ukrainian Nazi unit in Oakville. Man, is there any news here? How about our economy? How about the price of food? How about the selections? How about the fake election, the rigged elections? Oh, Air Canada, what's this? Oh, God. All right, let's move on. Oh, yeah, we covered that. Goodbye. And in Europe, never insult the Poles again. Polish Prime Minister issues stark warning to Zelensky. I'm telling you guys, when Zelensky loses this war of attrition, they're gonna blame Poland for losing the war, because Poland doesn't want to get dragged into this crap. Poland's been telling Ukraine to stuff it, right? In Italy, Meloni must start immediately to realize campaign promises on immigration, or it will be too late. Italian journalist tells Remix News. Yeah, France ravaged by migrant rapes as state. Here, let's open this in full screen here. France ravaged by migrant rapes as spate of sexual assaults targeted elderly women sweeping the nation. And it's getting out of control in France. A lot of small towns in France are basically can't even walk the streets anymore. Multiple reports of rapes and attempted rapes by migrants living in France have made local headlines as the continued dramatic rise of sexual assaults and mass immigration shows an undeniable correlation. So I came to France to build the future. Algerian migrant who raped a woman at knife point, shocked to be handed a 26-month sentence. But isn't some guy from that 70s show or something from a show going to jail for 10 years for apparently raping someone 10 years ago? No. He raped someone 15, 20 years ago, but he's going to jail for 10 years for rape. Am I making this up? Like, where did I see that? Real McCoy saying, my cousin's husband died suddenly yesterday. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, well, maybe call into Mike in the Night on Sunday. We're going to have a show on Sunday because Saturday's show will be derailed. Let's keep going, folks. So, I will beat you until you die. Black man threatens to kill German lesbians in shocking video. So I guess they're on a train, and the guy starts threatening her. Yep, that's what happens when you don't know who you're bringing. See, when I tried to immigrate into the United States, they have a really tight immigration, really tight. I had to make sure I wasn't stealing an American's job. I had to run ads in newspapers for 6 months and online, like Job Shark and stuff. I had to run ads to make sure I wasn't stealing an American's job for the position I was applying for from a big corporation that was sponsoring me. I had to show that I had, I think it was $20,000 or $30,000 in the bank, American. I had to show all this stuff, and I made everything by the book. No criminal background, no nothing. Health check perfect, everything to a T, and they declined me. Because they're really hard on immigration in the United States. They're really hard on people immigrating there. But the southern border, like when America is putting up these headlines, American border wide open, they have to specify in those articles that it's the southern Mexican. Because Canadians up in Canada say, oh, I'm going to go to America and buy a house in Alabama for $90,000. I don't want to be here no more. So Canadians get misinformed. Right, Canadian proper, Caucasian, European expansion Canadians get misinformed and they're not allowed in, or they get deported. Right, other cultures in Canada are welcomed into the United States with open arms, but Canadian, European expansion proper, they don't want you there. Right, I was basically told to leave the country. Right, the United States, and I had a corporation, everything by the book. So America does have laws in place to protect their people and to protect their borders. Oh, storm in Oregon. Here, let's look that up. Storm in Oregon. People are asking for storm. Cyclone. Let's see what we got here. So, bomb cyclone slams Pacific Northwest with heavy rain, rising threat of debris flows. West Coast is seeing season's first atmospheric river. The river moisture of the sky slamming Oregon, Washington, and Northern California with rain and strong wind. So, Portland News, bomb cyclone pulling another storm toward the Pacific Northwest. So we'll keep you guys posted as this unfolds. Sunday in Oregon, rain arrives for the first major fall storm. So Rain accumulation will really start to increase later in the day. So it's already Monday afternoon, and I'm not getting no updates from that. So if anyone could update us on that. Someone said it's just raining there right now. Did I see that right? It's raining there? So here it is right here, just like we forecasted on the channel. Canadian business closures surge, fewest business openings since lockdowns. Again, opening a business in Canada or blue states of America with 5, 6, 7 layers of government, Australia, it's just too expensive to have anything, to build anything off the ground anymore. Those days are gone. The days of getting a pickup truck and starting your own thing. I'm not trying to dissuade people from opening their own businesses. I own my own little store, and I've had it for many years now. But I've been building a stock. I've been building, I've been having to work hard to get people from out of town to visit my store because I am locally the bad man here in town in Merritt, BC. So you're going to see less and less private sector jobs, and with several 100,000 immigrants coming into Canada, it's not gonna fly. It won't fly. It won't work. So it's going to be all public sector jobs, like we've been saying. Governments will just create 6-figure income jobs so people make enough money to live in our housing crisis. And the people that built those buildings are not allowed to work, or just basically go to maid. Hey, you built those buildings over there? Good for you. There's maid waiting for you. We don't want you here no more. What else is happening in Canada? This week's top stories: Canadian mortgage rates to rise further, unemployment climbs. Canadian mortgage rates set to rise as yields go higher for longer, says Bank of Montreal. Canadian unemployment claims to rip to 2008 high. Disqualifications soar. So more and more people are... unemployment is going to keep going up. And it's going to be a travesty. It's a perfect storm, folks. Ontario real estate industry wants student loan forgiveness for down payments. So it's so bad in Canada that they're asking for student payment loan forgiveness to allow people to save up for a down payment to own their own property. That's how bad it is in Canada. Right? Lead Shoes Cobbler saying in Canada we pay property tax on stolen land according to the government. All right, let's keep going. What else we got here? Canada no longer has the lowest inflation in the G7, set to accelerate. Canada's in a lot of trouble, folks. I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to put this, but I've put this in many ways that it's not good, and they're making it worse. And what's the next distraction going to be? Right? I really want to, I want to bring this up on the show about distraction. This whole thing with the whole Nazi thing, whatever, Canada needs more of this. No, not honoring Nazis and stuff. No, Canada needs more of a distraction like this, good or bad. Australia, New Zealand, America. Governments are in desperate need of a distraction, right? I truly think governments are going to find a way to Canada, America, Australia, New Zealand, all these places. Because of the last couple of years, they're in a desperate need of another distraction. We've been trying to kind of pick it apart. Is it a first contact? Is it Operation Bluebeam? Are they going to go back to a new variant? Are they going to circle back to climate emergency? What's the next distraction? And these governments are running out of distractions. And what I'm afraid of is, and I was talking to the Raven earlier today, and I said to him, 2024 is going to be government-sanctioned murder. And I was very, very point blank about that. We've been talking about government-sanctioned murder for years. In 2024. 2023 was the year of the coffin, right? 2022 was the year of the protest. 2021 is the year of the lockdown, right? So they need a distraction. Governments are in so desperate need of some sort of something to come through. Anything. Absolutely anything. So they could basically put that front and center. Because they want the last 3 years to go away. Every government wants the last 3 years to disappear. Right? And that's why Macron in France is saying F term limits. I'm staying here forever. Because they don't want next administrations to come in and investigate the previous administration for crimes against humanity. It's plain and simple. That's why these people want to stay in office for as long as they can and say F term limits, so they can basically kind of wash things away over the years. But the last 3 years are not disappearing. The last 3 years are not going away. The last 3 years are here to stay, and they will be investigated, and they will be broken down, and it will be audited. It will be forensically audited. Because the private sector no longer stands for any of this stuff anymore. A lot of people now are waking up, and more people are waking up by the day. What are they going to do? Where are they going to take this? What's the next distraction? Is it first contact? We've been joking about first contact. Now it looks like it's happening. Is it another variant? Is it climate emergency? Right? Is government going to clamp down and say, screw you guys. We're just going to go ahead and kill you now. What's it going to be next? What's the next distraction? What do they have planned for us? None of us selected any of this. No, none of us voted for any of this. None of us wanted any of this. In 2019, when there was no confidence in governments, they spun it as climate change. Right? They just spun it as climate change. Everything was falling apart in 2019. Retail was closing. Big box stores were closing. Fast food was closing. Taxation was up the wazoo. People were no confidence in governments. In Chile, Argentina, Mexico, Canada, Brazil, Iran, everywhere. Libya, Haiti, all over Africa, all over Europe. The Yellow Vest movement was going on forever. And what's the next distraction, folks? What are they going to push us towards? I mean, we've really tried to really try to break it down for you guys and try to make sense, right? We really tried hard to make sense. And we were telling you this in this episode here. Mike in the Night 228, they will pull the trigger on a pandemic, worldwide riots as world burns. And we weren't kidding about this. The whole world was protesting. The whole world was in protest. That's in South America. Food costs going up. Look at that. Look at this.
Right, and look at the people. They're not all like young, angry people. They're bringing out senior citizens. Everyone's angry because everyone's got a grievance in all of Latin America.
Why are they beating up the taxi guy there or the ambulance? Hitting him with sticks?
That's Carabineros. That is a police vehicle.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh god. So this was happening already before. This was, we were warning you guys about this. There was no confidence in government, and we picked it right out of the hat. They're going to pull the trigger on the pandemic, and it happened. Are we going to see first contact? Are they going to initiate a first contact? We've been hearing rumors and stories of stuff. What's the next move? Look forward to reading your comments on that. Just like the tune, I'm going to get you one way or another by Blondie. Steve S. is saying, we are all God's creatures. My new neighbors were Gilles de Jean protesters in 2019. They moved to Canada to escape the migrants in France. Ashima is saying, now what, Mike? That's a really good question. Now what? Again, I think 2024 is going to be government-sanctioned murder. Governments are going to say, you know what? You don't want to believe in our climate change? You don't want to believe in our variants? You don't want to believe in our news? We're just going to kill you. Screw you. But people are saying, yeah, Mike, they got made. Yeah, no, we've been reporting on MAID for years now. We made that prediction video 7 years ago, and I said, by 2020, this is 7 years ago, by 2025, 1 out of 10 Canadians will be euthanized. And I'm concerned, because now we're following this deadly path of destruction. I'm telling you, they're going to find ways for you to die. It's going to be all government-sanctioned murder. It's all by the government, so it's all good. Alan is saying, abandon ship. Yeah. All right, guys, let's do another. Guys, Glutathione, in the description of the video, there's a link for the Glutathione, and there's a link if you want to donate to the channel, folks. If you can, donate to the channel and buy me a coffee. I would really appreciate it extremely much, and I'm very grateful for that from you guys there. So let's see if we could... there it is right there. Most powerful Glutathione. I just took a capful with you guys live right now. I just got my my stuff in the mail. So there it is right there. You guys could sign up. Just sign up. You don't have to buy anything. Just sign up for it under my name so you guys don't forget that. And if you that will help support the transmission. Oh wow, we got 70 people watching us live on Rumble. Thank you for joining us tonight on a very special last-minute edition of Mike in the Night. And yeah, there it is right there. What else? Wow. So we got a lot of people on. I'm getting a lot of likes on Facebook, but there's only 7 people watching on Facebook with 121,000 followers. Facebook is. I'm banned on Facebook again, folks. I'm very shadow banned. Chat's moving nice on both Rumble and Facebook. Good. That's Gold Dust there in the chat there. You're right, Mike. The dude on the 70s show got convicted. Yeah. Then you have migrants getting 10 hours in jail in France for raping somebody. It's crazy. It's absolute ludicrous what's happening. I'm surprised we're still on Twitch. I'm actually super surprised we're still streaming on Twitch. Because usually when I reach 3 or 4 followers, the channel gets taken down. Very shocked. Mike, how are game sales these past 6 months? Actually really good. Summertime is great. Now we're rolling into fall and winter, and hopefully I can make some more sales for Christmas. So Ashima saying, it's crazy at the border. I have never experienced this kind of questioning and probing ever. Well, I try to avoid the U.S. border as much as possible. Every time I go in, they end up holding me in a jail cell for hours. Last time I went into Seattle, they held me in a prison cell, and they groped me. I'm not making this up. If they think I'm making this up, come and sue me for slander, and we'll scan my passport and see when I went through. And you guys, oh yeah, we did grope the guy. Yeah. So they put me in a prison cell, and they just held me there. And then a couple hours later, they came back to see me, and they strip searched me. And then I'm like, okay, you don't got anything. You could go into America. You're fine. I'm like, holy shit. So I'm wondering if people are staying home and playing more games as a family. Hey, I played a board game yesterday with my kids and the day before. So Yeah. All right. So we got people in the comments here. Rip Torn is saying, watching on YouTube. Yeah, I'm kind of multi-streaming. So this is a very semi-censored show tonight, guys. I don't want to get kicked off of the platforms. And that's why we haven't taken any calls on tonight's show. But this Sunday show, guys, this Sunday's Mike in the Night's going to be really good. So we'll take in call-ins like normal. And heck, maybe we just do maybe 10, 15 minutes of headlines. And if we got enough people light up the lights, light up the Skype lights, you could add me on Skype, Mike Martins 1980. And if you guys want to do that, you can. Add me on Skype and then come on the show. Give us your spiel. Tell us what's happening in your neck of the woods. Tell us how you're being affected by whatever's happening. And you could go ahead and just be very. You could say whatever you want to say, pretty much. Just don't hate on nobody. Personal hate towards a personal private citizen. We don't want private citizenry being called out.
Ricky Spanish.
Unless it's something publicly posted, right? If somebody publicly posts something about me and then I read it online, this person said this person did this to me, that's different, right? So,
Ricky Spanish.
yeah, D&D is hit and miss. Someone's asking me if D&D is selling well. Yeah. Yeah, so good to have you guys here tonight. All right, guys, I'm going to be wrapping it up. It is almost 8 p.m. I'm going to go take care of my children now and put them to bed. They got school tomorrow. And I do have some send-off music from our friend Ralphie there at kiwiradio.nz. Signals.
We can make it, even though this circumstances hurt if we try.
All right, folks, Mike Martin's here signing off for episode 500, surprise episode of 524 of Mike in the Night. Mike Martin's here. Take care, and if you can't take care, stay safe. I have spoken.
This way. If we try.